now, the exercise is supposed to be taking place across the country. Give us a summary of the feedback you are getting so far.
Let me say a very good morning to our cherished viewers and to thank His Excellency the President and the Vice President for personally leading this exercise. And the participation has been very intensive, and the cooperation of Ghanaians, the patient organ. Let me thank everybody, the military, including the traditional authorities, the churches and the media. Everybody has been super. But the challenge now, as you are seeing it, even the President himself has seen it. Yesterday he was here, today he's coming here back. It tells you that he has seen the enormity of the problem. But I thank God that with the number of trucks that are coming, and with all the transfer stations that were previously closed and that have been opened, and with the cooperation of the private sector, clearly within the next 10 days, the things that we are seeing in the Greater Accra, they will all be cleared, and the streets will also be swept, and proper care will also be taken. So we are not stopping today. We are doing today. Yesterday we did it. Today we are doing it. From 30th of June, the MMDCs in Greater Accra and Nation have not been sleeping at all. This has been their costume. So clearly today we are continuing. The President will come here, and you see the number of trucks. When we were in the meeting, the estimation was that we were to bring about 100 trucks. But coming to the grounds has seen that it is not a matter of 100 trucks, because people were holding the refuse in their houses. And because we said the transfer stations are open for free, the President arranged with the private sector and said we should open the transfer stations for free. So they were open for free. So some are taking them to the transfer station at Chimota, some in Jamestown, some in Kandeshi, some in Abukubi, some in Malam, some in Panta. So clearly, because of that freedom, everybody, they are all bringing the waste. And that's why when you go around all the streets, you see heaps and heaps of refuse dumped there. And evacuation of the waste heaps that you see is also another work, and that's why we are not ending today.
So today the focus is on the evacuation of the waste while other people continue the cleaning.
Yes, today we said everybody should clean their communities and their neighborhoods, and that's why you don't see them on the streets. And once they do that, they bring the refuse to the streets, and that's why the evacuation should be carried out.
There's one thing that is missing. Most of what we have seen does not reflect just few days of dumping, months, possibly years. Again, enforcement at the assembly sleeping. How do we change the narrative?
Let me hold the fort for MMDCs and to commend them. Most Ghanaians don't appreciate the nature of the problem. The silting of the drains and storm drains is not the responsibility of the assemblies. The assemblies are for just primary drains, but the desilting is done by urban roads, and urban roads should have done the desilting of the drains and all those by March before the rain set in, and this was not done. So that's why some Ghanaians are just blaming the MMDCs. But as Minister for Local Government, I must set the record straight. The setting of primary drains, MMDCs. But the stilting of the drains that you see, that all the choke gutters and all the big drains, is the responsibility of the urban.
Yeah, I understand you perfectly.
It was not done for years, as you have said. Even the President testified to that yesterday. So once we do this, that the setting must also come. But thank God, money has been given to the Ministry of Western Housing and the urban roads, and clearly from 30th June, they are all doing it. So it's like we are working together simultaneously. And when you don't just set the record straight, and people think that, oh, the assembly should have done this, the money given to the assemblies cannot be used for the decision of all the big drains that you see in the, and that is the cause. So the presidency has given that directive, and that is why you see that we are desilting, we are sweeping, we are evacuating, and we are sorting, and we are recycling. But when you carry all those waste to a landfill site, you are compounding the problem. And that's why the entire Greater Accra, there's no landfill site. But we were doing it here, it got full. We were doing it here, they got full. So from 2014, we moved to recycling. And that is why today's one, we are sorting and we are...
Okay, so I'm told the President is almost in. And so we will continue with the conversation when he arrives. So as we speak, the place is set. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will be here any moment from now. If you look at the extreme end on my left from where I am, you will still see debris being collected. You would also notice at the back there that there are more of the trucks that are coming in. The Member of Parliament is in this area. The concern is about how do we go on from here.
Yes.
it is about time the people in your community see what is here. We admit that some may have come in the major drain on its way towards the Kole Lagoon enclave. But what we see in the drains here are basically the activity of the shop owners, the activity of the landlords and the tenants in this area. As a member of parliament, what do you think needs to be done beyond just this collection to enforce and stop this menace from going on?
I think the major issue has to do with enforcement. The municipal assembly is responsible for sanitation in the community. So I've spoken with the MC regarding some of these issues you've just mentioned here. Major issues that we need to have a task force that will ensure that when you make a mess in front of your shop or wherever you live, and you leave it there, there's consequences for that action. So he has agreed that after this exercise, we are going to form a task force to ensure that, look, we shouldn't be coming back here every year. After any major downpour, we come back here and lament and we'll go back and repeat the same thing. Moving forward, we have to ensure that there's a task force that is going to ensure that throughout the year, we have people checking people to make sure that they do the right thing. Once we get this thing done, I believe that we'll not be facing this coming.
Should we be ruthless in ensuring what is basically in the interest of ourselves?
Absolutely, I agree with you. I think that even the people also want us to be ruthless, because everybody is in support of, getting rid of all the structures that are on the waterways. So this is the appropriate time, because we have the government, the people supporting we have the people supporting us in this at this particular time. If we don't take advantage of this and we allow that support to fade away, and we come back and want to do the right thing, we'll get resistance. So I want us to take the opportunity to ensure that this time around we do the right thing and we build that culture, so that moving forward, everybody knows these are how things are supposed to be done, and people follow our lead.
Okay, thank you very much. So that's the member of parliament for the area. So the issue basically is when you see it, report it, ensure the right things are done. I believe if from time to time we are beginning this process, and then from time to time we encourage people who report those who are breaching the basic sanitation laws, and we make sure that those who are sanctioned are either punished by the courts to come and then work on debris like this. It should be punitive enough, deterrent enough for those whose habit is just about dumping in the waste. And again, another practice we have also observed and heard is that some of these people wait in the middle of the night when people are sleeping. That is when they come out to engage in these things. I will try to engage the president of the Ghana Journalists Association. This is a national exercise, but there are times when there's a feeling that the media is too focused on the politics of NDC MPP, when media, as people who should also chart a course for the good of society, go to bed. As president of the GJA, would you say what I've said is right?
I think you are right, and I agree with you. And if you can see, we this time around, we are not treating this as a political issue, and we don't want to politicize it. It's the reason about 3 days ago I addressed the media, calling on all the media to support the call and the president, in fact, for this national exercise. Flood doesn't know MPP, doesn't know NDC, and this has become a threat to national security. And so for all of us as the media, it is our responsibility to protect the citizenship. And so you cannot politicize such an essential matter, and then and then make it politics, or maybe let it look like what called a color blame game and etc. This is the time we all need to come together. Yesterday you saw that when the president came here, there were MPPs, there were former President Kufuor's bodyguard and all that with him and all that, meaning that this is a call to
would your office consider instituting an award that would target media houses whose preoccupation is to use their platform to whip up public interest in keeping society clean, name and shame, etc., rather than individuals who are identified for their good works?
My brother, you see, you are a media man yourself. We have always called for what we call the sanitation press call. And so when we have this call, that will actually help us will enhance monitoring. I mean, it will help us to monitor whatever the work of the media and how the media report, just as we have Galamsey press call on the illegal mining. And so, I mean, once we are able to institute that, it will be very, very, very necessary for us to now create what we call a rewarding system that reward journalists who commit much time in reporting on sanitation, in sensitizing the people of the need of sanitation, and in ensuring that we, the people, we have the sole responsibility, and not even the responsibility of government. In fact, we live in the community.
Okay, unfortunately, I have to leave you because His Excellency, the President, is coming in. So, thank you very much. And so, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama should be arriving here in the next few seconds. What he's coming to do here basically is about supporting this national cause and leading by example. Yesterday he was in the drains and participating in this exercise. So at this stage I will leave you to watch what is ongoing. So while the President is ushered in, he will alight. He will be received by the Deputy Chief of Staff Operations there. We have Jospon Group of Companies, Mr. Siao Japan, the Member of Parliament, is standing sandwiched between Mr. Siao Japan and the Greater Accra Regional Minister. We also have the Minister for Local Government and the President of the Ghana Journalists Association. So my colleague Belinda will take over and describe what is ongoing here, and then I can tell you that she'll be engaging as many other people as possible. But Belinda, the President has just arrived, so you took over the commentary, and let's see how it goes.
Okay, so my name is Belinda Anand Kwanta, and we're here at Alajo, where the President is visiting to assess this, the cleanup situation going on here. Now, today is day 2 of the cleanup session, and the President has already been here yesterday, and today he comes again. So that is him getting down from his car. So right. So he's being met by the immigration officer, the prison officer as well, as he comes down from his vehicle.
So the President has just arrived and was stepping off office. I can tell you, yesterday when he said that the military is leading the efforts to clear the debris would be supported. The deployment of the trucks.
Oh, you could see that from the scenes here.
Really engulfed the capital.
So you could see from the scenes here that military personnel are already present in here. Yeah, military personnel are. So that's the President coming out of. Let's go greeting the military personnel, exchanging pleasantries here with security personnel, including the Comptroller General of Immigration, and then the other military personnel as well. He's interacting with them as he moves towards the community where now he's also being briefed by the Brigadier General Foster on what has transpired. Right, so he's waiting to inspect. Yeah, he just exchanged pleasantries with the Zoom Lion CEO, and he's also interacting with people, and also right, so he's also assessing the situation. So now you realize that yesterday after the cleanup session, there was heaps of rubbish packed by the roadside, and trucks are here present to carry these heaps of rubbish away. Now, from yesterday, and the President is just about interacting with the media. Mr. Yanyo, here.
Yesterday you were here because of the nature and the enormity of the problem that you became witness. By thankfully, with your support and the support of the security service and the private sector, yesterday we were able to bring a lot of refuse on the streets. And as we expected before we came, most of the refuse were in the houses. But because of your intervention to open all the transfer stations and the landfill site and to give freedom that they should bring the refuse for free, everybody is bringing just the refuse left, right, center. And therefore all the streets across the country, and especially in Accra, the more you evacuate, the more they bring. And I'm happy that today you've come again. But myself and my sister, the regional minister, with the MPs and the MMDCs, even today, being the second day, we are not going to relent. We are going to continue. We may therefore need additional intervention that the transfer station openings should not end today. Because if you close it today, they will continue to be keeping the refuse in their houses. And we don't know when the next rain is coming. When the rain is coming, then they will come and be putting them into the gutters. So clearly, once we create that access, the stations will be opened, and within the next 1 week or 10 days, Your Excellency, even tomorrow, your Pentecost elder, I will not go to church. Tomorrow, Manchester service will be held here. We will come and make sure that we do the evacuation until we finish to bring you the report that you want. And I think that you will be of the view that we clean, after that we sweep, and all those kind of things. We will do it to your expectation, but a report will be brought. Thank you for your distinguished and excellent leadership. Enyaminti.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want all of us to remember that today is day 2 of the national cleaning exercise. Yesterday the turnout was fantastic, very good. People came out and helped to clean their neighborhoods. Today the turnout is also good, but I'm just calling on those who are still in their houses and haven't come out. Please come out and come and join us so that we clean the city after the flood. Yesterday, one of the directives I gave was that in the past we do these cleanups, we take all the garbage out of the gutters, but we don't follow up and come and collect the garbage that is by the roadside. And so when the rain falls, it just washes all the dirt back in. And so today we're going to concentrate on scooping all that garbage we took out of the gutters into these big trucks that you see there, so that they'll take them to the dump sites and go and dump them. But we know that if you look at the city and all the garbage we've taken out, we cannot do it in one day. So we'll all have to do it today. But tomorrow the army and the other agencies will continue until we're able to clear all the garbage that was taken out of the drains. We've had 6 transfer stations that were built more than 9 years ago. Unfortunately, they were not put into operation. So we've asked the contractor to open the transfer stations, that's Zoom Lion, so that the Oboyas and others can take the garbage to the transfer stations. They don't need to go all the way to Amasama and to the Arikops. If they dump at the transfer stations, we use these big trucks and load the garbage and take them to the Arikops. And so all the Aboboyas that are taking part in this exercise, you don't need to go to Amasama. Go to the nearest transfer station. If you ask, they'll show you where it is, and then you can go and dump your garbage there. So I want to thank everybody who's come out, and those who are still at home, all of you come out. We are doing this together. And Ghana is a resilient country, Accra is a resilient city, and we'll bounce back better than before. Thank you very much. Fire.
Madam, how are you?
The magnet, no. Oh, so where's my magnet? Where's your magnet? Ask Chama. Where's Chama? Where's my magnet? The Chama has the magnet. The magnet.
Okay, so moment the president spoke, he laid emphasis on the need for us to do this constantly, and as we speak, he is personally collecting the garbage. Excuse me. Wow. So he's in gloves and then he's pulling the polythene from the French footwear and all kinds of items that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. What he's doing is very symbolic. It is for people to know that what we see here is an eyesore. What we do collectively, just dumping anything anywhere, is a problem that must be addressed. So today we have all kinds of media personnel who are here waiting to catch a glimpse of the president. But he's not here for eye service. He's here because there was a disaster on June 29th. We are told in Greater Accra 12 people died, and across the country about 34 people died. And much of what contributed to the filth, the flooding, was human activity. Either people reclaiming water retention centers, or people just dumping indiscriminately. We also told that engineering is also an aspect of all these are what we believe has resulted in what we are seeing. Some streets of Alajo basically being led to one of the locations where volumes of filth have been dumped, awaiting collection by the waste management companies. Zoom Lion, we are told, is releasing 60 of these double cabin trucks, and then we also have the other contractors who have also supported with their articulated trucks. So here he will be witnessing how the filth will be scooped, collected, and then dumped in the trucks to the transfer stations. In his presentation, he assured Ghanaians that within some weeks all this will be over, because the military, other security agencies and stakeholders involved in this exercise will be making sure all the debris lined up on the shoulders of drains, gutters, etc. are cleared. Now, many of the transfer stations, we also understand, were closed for over 9 years, but it's instructed that these transfer stations are open. and once they are open, the abuboyas or the tricycles which are used in the collection of waste will no longer have to travel all the way to Amasaman, and the temptation of finding easy ways to dump them, and this will also be managed. So we spoke to Jospon Siang Ejapon, that's the managing director or executive chairman of Jospon Group, who made us aware that he's releasing about 60 of those trucks that we saw a while ago to support this exercise. I've seen trucks owned by First Sky Construction Company, Isonda Construction Company, and several of them, which are all involved in this exercise. So His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will be leaving here any moment from now to possibly visit other scenes where people's attention needs to be brought to this. If you look at the drains we are walking by just a while ago, many things that we spoke about over years were things that bordered on enforcement of laws. It was obvious that most of the assemblies have just not been very active, but the Minister for Local Government claims the assembly cannot be solely blamed for what has been happening, because for him the assemblies have their mandate. It is the Urban Roads Department which must be involved in the desilting of the drains. I have a totally different opinion with regards to this, because for me the local assemblies are in charge of sanitation, and so if for any reason the Urban Roads Department, as the sanitation ministry is suggesting, that are not the ones to be desilting the gutters, they have as local government representatives the mandate, the authority to ensure that the right thing is done. So we'll be ending our live broadcast here. I believe that as and when His Excellency steps out, as and when our platforms see the need to come to you with development across the country for good for everyone, we'll come back to you again. I did it with Belinda. And thank you for the production team's support, Gideon, Anku, Alex, Alaji, and everybody who has been part of this live production. Let's meet again another time on your screens. You like